Well, this was in the early times when, you know, the Okinawa came and the Nikes were not too close.
That's right.
Yeah, they weren't that close. And so when I proposed to Shigeko, and she said okay, let's get married. So then I asked, oh, didn't your parents object, to me, being her husband? She said no. She asked, she told me that the father said if you like that person, go ahead and marry him,
優が好き
So
なら誰でもいいよって言って
so yeah, that was a kind of surprise to me, and the rest of the family, accepted me in their family. So yeah, and that's when I found out what kind of family they were, and I was very appreciative.
Um, Mike, I think as I, told you when we talked about my father and my mother, I think because I said that, father was always so busy, being a breadwinner, working like Ted said from morning till night. Perhaps we were closer, to my mother, but I think I see a lot of my father in all of my brothers and sisters. I think, of course, my father, like somebody said, he worked hard physically, but then to relieve some of the pressures of the day, he would have his sake or whatever in the evening. And when he did that, he would he just loved to lecture. He always loved to lecture. But then, like it's been mentioned, he was, you really think, he was a real philosopher because even back in those days and living where we were living, and you talk about lack of formal education, and I think there are a lot of the things that he said to us that have stuck with us. All the little sayings that we all remember is because my dad always said. He always said that.
Yeah, and thing that comes to my mind right now is, those days, poverty, everybody was in poverty. And those days, nobody blamed the government. They don't say, oh, it's the government's responsibility to, keep us going. Our house, we had a home there at Hamasu place, which was 3 stars. A dirt floor, and we had a step up, which used to be the kitchen, and we had a stair going up, which where we went to sleep.
How many bedroom? One room.
And we had a big 1-bedroom house.
You had a 3-story, 1-bedroom house.
Right. And growing up, the first time I saw money, actual money, was when father worked for the NRA, National Recovery Act. That was, what year was that?
In the 30s.
In the 30s, where, they put people, there was so much depression around that they put people to work and fixing up the roads, fixing up public places like that. And that is the first time that I saw money.
You have to sign the check.
Well, yeah, at least you got paid by check.
But poverty-wise, well, I mean, everybody was in the same boat. So nobody says, hey, the government or something. We try to survive by our own ways. And, thinking about it now, I says, look, what country can you find where in one generation you can be way down bottom, and then you be able to survive by yourself, by changing jobs, changing places. That's only here in the United States. Other countries you can't do that. I mean, it's not possible for the people to do that. So I feel that, gee, maybe Father was right coming from Hamasu, which is a beautiful place. But coming to Hawaii, and he spent almost his life, trying to gain some money to go back to Japan. His primary goal was coming here for about 3 years, make enough money, and then go back to Japan and live happily ever after because you have a lot of money. But that didn't happen. And now he's buried over here, but at least once in his lifetime he went back to his home country.
Do you think his heart was broken because he couldn't get the money and go back home?
Well, I think As have more of that, and I had one experience that Father used to say, gee, sometimes he felt like, just giving up and just killing himself because he was not successful in making enough money to, go home, because he was the eldest son of his family. The tradition is in Oriental, like in Japan, the eldest son will take care of his parents and whatever the parents had. But he left his younger brother in Japan and came to Hawaii. And I believe, he felt inside, although he didn't say much about, his feeling, but he felt inside he was not successful enough to bring enough money, and take it back to Japan.
He really wanted to commit suicide, he said, when he didn't have a 5 cents piece to offer to the offertory, お三千入れるのに誰もなかった。Uncle Watao-san had to put him in for him, That's why, that's when he felt that also.
Was it often, or?
Japanese church, when you go, they have a box which you throw your offering, then you pray, see. And when he went to the church and checked his pocket, he didn't have anything, so he had to borrow that money. Normally those days was nickel, throw nickel, and then at least you satisfy the God, the仏様. And he used to say to me, he says, if you're poor, he said, even your relatives will not look at you. If you're poor, even your relatives will not look at you.
But
So-
you said that everybody was poor at that.
Well, everybody was poor, but you figure some families, they have sons, older sons that's working, right? They have some income. But my family, I was the oldest, and he was the sole supplier of our livelihood. So he didn't have any, even a nickel to offer to the church.
But in a way, I guess we were fortunate that we had grandfather and grandmother and just they kind of helped us out.
That's right.
Subsistence.
Yeah,
Uncle Fu.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, the only way we could have survived was being subsidized by Uncle Tashiro.
Yeah, but it sounds gloomy, but when we were young, we were really happy family.
Yeah.
So cousin Yoshie Uemura, she used to envy us, because our family, get together dinner table and then do udesumo and things like that, yeah. And we had lots of fun. We fight too, but then that was fun too. Good fun too. Masa used to chase me around with the broom.
Oh yeah. I miss those years.
Also used to chase me around, push me down, and press the back of my neck.
Since you're talking about Uncle Moss, why don't we concentrate on him? Any favorable stories, unfavorable stories that you want to talk about?
Aki has something about his older brother.
The horse, Aki.
Yeah, if I can't talk good about anybody, I should.
I have a gripe.
Don't worry, you'll have your chance next time.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I'm sure this is a gripe that I've not heard before.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Suzuki no Okusan, Miss Suzuki made Mama
Suzuki.
asked her to make kimono, I love that material, blue material and then summer wear. And then he was asked to bring it home, and then he forgot it under the coffee tree or someplace and he stopped playing and he forgot to bring it home. And that night it rained. And
You
the
remember
kimono
that?
was all spoiled. Wow. Yeah, I never wear the kimono.
And what happened after that?
That's all. But he got good scolding from mom.
Yeah, Dad, why don't you tell your story?
Which one?
Which one?
Delivery in orange.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know. Like Rashomon, I have my view. He might have his own view. But I remember Mas was, very good with horses. I mean, the horse really obeyed what he says. I don't know. He had a knack with horse. I like my dog. I used to really like my dog. But this was getting to be New Year's time, and I guess it was Ji-san, grandfather, told Mas and I to go pick all the oranges. Tashiro house, all around the house there are, a lot of orange trees. All junk kind of orange though, not the sweet kind. The sweet kinds there. But as I recall, we picked oranges, we put them in the coffee bag, and we loaded onto the horse. And Ji-san told us to deliver this, I guess for New Year's to all the neighbors. But in that area, neighbors is pretty far apart. Araki is about half a mile away, and Tahara and Makahiro.
Oh yeah, it's quite a big walk.
Yeah. So we packed the oranges, on the horse, and Moss Road, and then
You hang on at the tail and
he was riding. So I said, "Gee, I want to ride too." So he said, "Well, hop on, jump in the back, with the coffee bag with oranges full," and I sat in the back, and gee, the horse, just bucks and I wouldn't move. So I guess, Mas told me, well, okay, why don't I, ride alone, and he could walk, and so I rode in the, on the saddle, and the horse still don't move. Well, so I had to get off, and Mas got on, and the horse got
So you walked all the way.
So, oh yeah, I had to walk around chasing him. I don't think he remembers that.
It's funny, I don't remember any of his stories.
Yeah, the horse, when he used to call him baby, he used to
Yeah.
run up.
What about Taco and then
Yeah.
at the gate?
Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, I don't know where Mas was then, but from Uemura, they used to live about, I think another half a mile from our house.
Yeah, but
It was up the hill.
Right.
So Taco, she was only about 2 or 3 years old, I think. 2 years old. And myself, we rode on the horse, and we went all the way up. And we had gate, made with 3 bamboo poles. It was lying like that. And you gotta pull the bamboo, get it off the wire. So we came to the the gate, and we stopped the horse, put the gate down, walked the horse in. Taco was on the horse, 2 years old. Then as I was putting the gate, bamboo back, the horse started galloping. And it's quite a distance from there. Yeah, you gotta go around the dirt road, and then there's a stream small stream.
Bamboo bush and the stream.
Yeah, banana trees and bamboos.
Bamboo
and
banana.
yeah, and then you outdoor toilet over there. And then he comes to the house. And I guess I was really scared. I ran after the horse, and I don't know why I was, yelling in Japanese. Taco, hold tight! It's hold tight!
Hang on straight.
And amazingly enough, I think Charlotte was at home, and the horse just galloped. I guess Masa had it trained that way, all the way, and Taco, amazingly didn't fall down. And you can tell the rest.
She hung on sideways, side saddle.
Oh, yeah.
Hung on. And that horse, I think Mas used to train him to take off after the gate, kind of up the hill, and turn around the corner, and then go past the benjo and then go up the hill again where we used to hang our clothes, and used to stop there. So he stopped, and that's when, and he's running after, he done your mom. She really hung on to
We had a mule too, and I remember one time we were supposed to, was it Baba Sang or somebody asked us to go get, firewood for the folks who washing clothes or something, to burn the firewood, and I guess we didn't go. He was riding the mule, and then you were coming down the hill or something, and
Both
you
of you?
fell down. No, I wasn't riding, and that's when you break your arm. That was mule.
And they had to make a stretcher or something, and
You had to go to, where was Okara?
How did you get there with the horse?
No, I think Uncle George's truck came.
Hmm.
I don't know who was driving, but it's amazing. I know exactly where I got hurt.
Oh,
And I was coming down the hill, and like a mule. Mule is not built like a horse. Mule has like a big belly, and so when you tighten the girth, if it's coming down the hill, the saddle will start going to the front. Before I know it, I was practically on the neck, and then the saddle just tipped, and then I fell down, and I just fell on my arm, or try to brace myself or break the fall, and I broke my arm. And back in those days, living where we were living, I mean, to go to a hospital from there, it was, you wonder how did I get to a hospital? But I remember Uncle's the gray, I think Plymouth truck or something he had. They took me to the hospital.
oh.
Does anybody have any favorite stories about the Auntie Charlotte? Mom was mentioning how she thought that if it weren't for your help, she might not have been as happy or successful in transforming herself as you must have.
Me? Well, the fact that you were the relative there, and you know, Michael, Michigan, the sport, you know, being there actually made it nice.
I have really fond memories of being with her in Hilo and Umikua. When she selected me, I don't know why. I was really, fortunate. I think that I would. While she was working in Hilo and in college, I would get to stay with her, and I thought that was really special.
Because you were obedient.
Listen to the elder.
Oh, can you tell that story? She came to visit you.
Oh yeah, talking about obedient. Well, the boss that I used to work for, the lady had rheumatism, and she used to be so irritable type of lady because she was hurting anyway. So I used to tell, the lady had a daughter named Peggy, about the same age as Matsu, and if those two played around and made noises, then Mrs. Burke would be mad. So I used to tell Matsu, stay in the room, our cottage. Yeah, she used to stay. But then during our break, like after lunch, we had a fall break, so we used to go up to the camp, have malasadas with the Portuguese people.
And the Christmas programs there
Yeah.
were really fun.
That was nice. Christmas Day used to have parties and gifts.
Hey, Uncle Cliff,
We
when
got-
you
with
tell
us?
me about your wife,
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing.
What's that?
that's the funny part.
Yeah, start before she became your wife.
Don't be too loud.
I don't know. I just lost track of you. Keep going with others. I'll come back. I was
Well,
falling
I
asleep.
think, what Cliff is thinking about it, I used to think that I was the only one that got scolding from my father. Well, I used to get that feeling anyway. And it made me it really tickled my heart one time when she told me about the experience she had going to Hilo with Tahara no Michang, and then she came home because she sidetracked on the way home from Hilo. She didn't come directly home. And my father just tore into her, and it just made me feel so good. Telling that story, Charlie.
This is I went back to high school after my sophomore year because Hilo High School, I picked Hilo High School because I didn't want to go to Honoka High School and be about the same grade or one grade higher. I didn't want to go to the same school. Okay, so then I told my parents, I'm going to work my way, so let me go. And then I was working at Umikua Ranch. And parents said, okay. I said, I'm going to work, I'm going to find a job. Then at that time, Taharano, uncle, the lawyer, what's the
Okino.
Okino.
Okino, yeah. They needed a girl, part-time girl. So Michan said, oh, I'll take you, Taharano Michan said, okay. So we went on the bus early in the morning, and my parents were waiting to hear the result. However, they were having a dance in Honoka. So then I cannot come home myself. Mitchell said, let's go to the dance, and then her friend would bring us back. So I said, okay. And in the meantime, you know, my father especially was waiting, and this was late already. And I came home and said, how was it? And this and that. Oh, I told them that I will work for them. How much are they going to pay you? I said, $5 a month. What can you do with $5? Then he said, you know. I said, well. And then we started to argue somehow. And he said, well, from tomorrow you carry a hoe and go back to Hohana, you know, go to a plantation.
Wow.
That's it. Okay, I told him. I can just imagine. I go back to Hohana. And then that was it. You know, I went to sleep. And then next day, Sunday, Monday, I had to go back to Nicola Ranch. And I told my boss about Williams, what had happened. And she had a cousin in Hilo, Reed's Island, Bacchus family, mother and daughter. She said, oh, they're looking for a part-time girl there. Maybe you can work there and then go to Hilo High School. So she called for me, and then I called Okino, you know. I said I reconsidered. And then I went to work for this Bacchus family, and then went to Hilo High School. They paid me $15 a month, $10 more.
Oh.
So-
What you were supposed to do? Keep the house?
Yeah, in the mornings. Well, usually weekends I had to clean up the place.
I think Ace was like a pioneer for us. And, you know, I don't think I would have had the courage to do what she's done.
But it was a good experience for me. I mean, you know, doing it. Otherwise, like going to work at Rumiko Ranch, you know, cooking American food. I didn't know how to cook American because Japanese way is cooking the vegetables and meat and all together, right?
Mhm.
When they tell me to cook vegetables by itself, I say vegetable by itself, tasteless, right? No, but then that's how I learned. Rumiko Ranch, they raise their own vegetables like Brussels sprouts and rhubarbs and things like that. That's where I learned all those, how to roast, because it was a ranch. During the war years, we had roast beef and butter, you know, roast beef. That's where I learned American food.
How did you happen to get a job over there?
Rumiko?
Yeah.
I think father or somebody, through a friend, to Okinaka, that this is Okinaka. Agnes Okinaka used to be the cook over there. And maybe through somebody, friend or somebody.
Didn't you work at a church too before, and then like
Bonsam.
yeah,
Buddhist
and
church.
then Ojaga, you eat only the broth and no rice or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Kashihara sensei.
Oh,
You know.
Toshobara.
The Oksan had the baby. The first daughter was about 3, and then she had a son. Okay, so they need someone to wash the diapers and to help around. And so that's where I went. This was after 9th grade.